Hello guys, how's it going? Long time no see. Um, well, first of all, I want to apologize for this sort of clickbait, which isn't really clickbait. I could have actually put a worse title than this, and that would have been easily clickbait, easy clickbait. But honestly, the message will not change, and the information that I have is definitely serious and important to me. Um, so it doesn't matter how I would have titled the video. It would have been clickbait anyway, and honestly, I didn't want to uh, cause more expectation and easy clicks just for nothing. But I really think it's necessary to inform this and get it out of the way basically because it's been pretty much 6 months since 5 months since last video I uploaded. There was a reason why I didn't upload anything anymore during these months. It wasn't really related to work as such. um, by the way, you what you see right now is a black screen. So what I'm going to tell you right now, it's basically something important, relevant, serious, yet not dramatic. I don't want to make it sound dramatic. I mean, it will be dramatic anyway for whoever takes it that way. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm trying to basically justify everything that I'm doing right now before actually telling you the content. So I apologize for all of this. 2 minutes of unnecessary explanations. But yeah, basically, this is the setup for something that actually I wasn't expecting to announce ever, but so is life. You can't control certain facts, and what you have to do is basically do what you are given, uh, basically, or do what you are told to do or you are expected to do under certain circumstances. As you know, 10 years ago I was diagnosed with testicular cancer, 2013, and basically I announced that back in the day, basically when I was right about to start chemotherapy, with a very optimistic future ahead of basically the illness itself. The treatment was basically clear, and what was supposed to be done was pretty much clear. How long it would take was pretty much clear. Full recovery was pretty much clear that it was going to happen. And it took exactly 4 or 5 months, the whole process, with the surgery, with chemotherapy, with a lot of rest, with a lot of optimism, and went through that. Of course, with certain difficult moments, but nothing terrible, nothing too terrible compared to certain cases I actually saw in the clinic back in the day. So I honestly didn't think I had the right to complain. Well, I'm telling you all this because obviously what I'm gonna tell you has to do with that. Um, I got cancer in my right testicle in 2013, and according to, I guess, general medical statistics, there is a 2% chance that a person that developed a cancer in one testicle would develop cancer on the second testicle years later. 2% chance. Guess what? Yeah, that's probably the only funny part out of the video. Yeah, I got cancer on the other testicle as well. Um, However, now things are somewhat different because the damage and the circumstances how I found out were actually different from last time because The first time I realized that was a big difference in size of one testicle compared to the other, and then I went to the doctor and find out about everything. And then I realized that I had some um, additional damage in the abdomen area, minimal, that basically was all removed and eliminated with chemotherapy. Well, right now I found out the hard way through symptoms. And that's one of the reasons, and that's basically the main reason why I didn't produce anything in 5 months, because I was with some degree of back pain, especially in the kidney area, for some time now. Not right now, but I mean, since August until December, with of course certain stops in the process. So that pain actually I linked it to kidney stones, because I had kidney stones actually 10 years ago precisely, and I knew exactly how it felt like. The thing is, even with medication and actually taking or running a test, basically to see my left kidney, there was actually a stone that apparently got removed months later, but the pain actually didn't disappear, and it was actually getting worse as time progressed. And that basically is what concerned me the most, because even with all the medication and the same symptoms permanently, I really didn't feel a real relief from the pain. I let many months pass by, and that's probably the biggest mistake I made, because I was still assuming it was the kidney. Well, it was the kidney, but it wasn't because of a stone only. Honestly, I didn't feel anything different in my left testicle. I didn't really feel like it grew in size, or that I had difficulty uh, going to the bathroom or things like that. But at some point, I felt like the pain wasn't letting me sleep at night. So I was exhausted at work. Somehow I managed to sleep 1 hour at night, and then on my way to work and on my way back home, since someone takes me to work and then gets me back home. I don't drive, but and during those times I managed to sleep an hour or two on the way and on the way back. But it wasn't enough. Obviously, I didn't rest well enough. It wasn't life quality, because obviously I was in some pain, in some discomfort, and I didn't know why, and it was taking actually too long to actually go to the doctor and tell what the situation is. Not just take run a test and see the kidney itself to see if there is a stone or not. Uh, so yeah, the back pain actually worsened, and like I said, it was actually having other sort of repercussions. I was losing weight. I started to lose weight. I actually grew fatter than ever during the pandemics. During the quarantine, I gained like 40 pounds. And then suddenly I lost them. In a matter of 2 or 3 months, I lost like 20 kilograms, near 40 pounds. I'm making just a very, 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 very superficial calculation. Probably I'm wrong, but I guess it's something like that. Um, so I lost all of that weight without making any effort, eating pretty much the same amounts of food, losing appetite very easily, and that was probably what triggered everything. It was like, no, a big guy like me, not wanting to eat, not having the urge to eat something without feeling nauseous, or just not feeling like eating anything at all, or eating two or three crackers and then feeling full after three crackers, definitely not normal. That's basically when it was a definite trigger, and that happened in mid-December. And that was probably the biggest mistake. I let at least 2 months, 2 full months of constant symptoms that didn't actually, um, from which I didn't get any relief. Plus, I was getting new things, like in this case, uh, increasing the back pain, losing appetite, and losing lots of weight. So, with all of those things into consideration, I went to the doctor. Of course, worried about my back pain. Then we realized, yes, there is a big tumor in your abdomen that is basically pressing the cavities that basically um, allow you to move the urine. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible, and that is making your kidney grow or get inflamed, basically from or with urine, because the conducts are or the little cavities that basically are used to make the urine run are being pressed by a ball, a series of little tumors that grew together or joined together and became a big piece of tumor. And then from that, I realized that I actually had a tumor in the testicle, not the other way around like the first time. I realized that's why I say that I realized the hard way. I experienced symptoms unlike the first time, and I found that I actually got something growing inside of me in my abdomen that is big enough. It's a big tumor. It's a big one. 13 by 15 centimeters. So it's like a right pressing certain areas of my kidney and the stomach. It's not compromising the organs yet. Um, it hasn't reached that point, but obviously was having repercussions in the back pain, the capacity to go to the bathroom, basically take a piss normally. I wasn't taking pisses normally, and obviously how I was making the digestion from the food that was actually being less and less every day. So yeah, in basically 2 weeks, I realized that I had a tumor in the abdomen as a consequence of another tumor that was located in the testicle, which is the origin of all that. At first, of course, it was thought that it was basically like a consequence of the first tumor, but no, it was a new one. And that's why it's a little bit more complex of a situation than the first time. We are still waiting for a couple of results from certain tests that we were running in terms of the kind. Well, I mean, first of all, first things first. Today is January the 9th. Today, right today, I'm going to upload this video and tell everything. Exactly a week ago, I actually got surgery to get the second testicle removed. We already took action. Basically, I realized about this mid-December, and the day after the new year, I got my second testicle removed. I got a stent, a little stent that is helping me drain all the accumulated urine in the kidney. So we are already taking measures, everybody. So that's the good news. I mean, yeah, I told you all the dramatic part about how I found out about this new tumor. That was a matter of, again, literally 10 days. In 10 days, I realized, okay, I got a new tumor, and it's actually in a more serious situation than the first time, because probably I will need surgery, a lot of chemotherapy, and probably a second surgery. I will tell you about that more in detail in a couple of minutes. But what's important to know, everybody, for your tranquility, for your um, for you to breathe a little bit more, and if you are legitimately worried about me, so you can relax a little bit more, I'm already got my testicle removed. So the basis of the origin of all that is already gone, and I already taking care of the issue in the kidney. Back pain is basically reduced to the minimum. I practically don't feel any pain in the back. I'm eating more, which is for better or for worse, because I've actually, like, the positive thing about all of this was that I was actually losing weight, not the proper way, obviously. But at least now I'm eating more and I don't really feel, I mean, I still feel very full with not so much food, but at least I'm eating more and healthier, and at least I am feeding myself with proteins and carbs and what needs to be eaten, basically to have enough energy to be well during the day. The sleeping part is another issue because I still cannot like sleep in all the positions I want. I still have difficulties to fall asleep and to sleep for 4 hours in a row, which is I am actually feel very well rested with 5 hours of sleep. I haven't been able to reach that in months, in a couple of months easily. So I sleep 3 or 4 hours in an hour intervals because I don't feel comfortable in a single position. Sometimes I feel like a little back pain, and then I need to like stand up for half an hour, and then I feel relief again, and then I can go to sleep again. So yeah, the sleeping part is probably the worst part that I've been experiencing for the last few months. That's the other symptom that I didn't tell you about, the lack of sleep. I told you about the lack of eating and the lack of food in general, but the tiredness was also not from the lack of energy for not feeding myself, but also for not sleeping at all. I think I mentioned it at some point, but I don't remember, to be honest. Well, the point being, right now I am in basically the after surgery. I am in a sick leave until next week. We are still waiting for the results of the biopsy. Biopsy, I think it's called. Basically, the analysis of the tumor itself to see the type of tumor, if it is basically um, essentially the type of testicular cancer I have and how it's going to be treated. Of course, it will be via chemotherapy, but of course we have to know exactly what medicines we are going to use in that chemotherapy. Hopefully, it's going to be the same type of cancer as 10 years ago. If that's the case, I wouldn't say we will celebrate, but at least I would be basically breathing with a lot more relief, because it would be the type of cancer that would be the most vulnerable and the easiest to treat with chemotherapy and the least aggressive out of all the testicular cancers. We're just waiting for that confirmation. I mean, again, some running some blood tests and things like that, and so far the results are promising, but I still have to wait for at least another week before knowing exactly what we're dealing with. Regardless of the results, even if it's not the same type of cancer and we are dealing with an aggressive one, I'm not having a bad time right now. Uh, I mean, things are being taken care of right now, as in right now. Uh, the doctors will know what to do. Financially, I have no issues whatsoever because basically I have a private health system that basically this illness is covered within a plan that in which you don't pay for everything, but you pay for a minimal amount. Uh, that's basically the same thing as 10 years ago. But 10 years ago, my parents were paying for that plan. Right now, I am paying for that plan myself. And as a person that is single, no children, it would be actually easier for me to manage to pay for everything. So financially, that's not going to be an issue. So please get out of the way the idea that potentially I would be asking for money to pay anything at all in terms of medical expenses. That's not going to happen because I don't need them, to be honest. Um, so yeah, right now we are in the waiting process of confirmation that we are basically dealing with the same type of cancer as 10 years ago. That being the case, we can breathe a lot more. And even if it wasn't the case, I am pretty relaxed, all things considered. I thought that my mood would be actually worse because honestly, 10 years ago, probably I wouldn't stand dealing with another cancer right after. But it happened 10 years later, so probably I was mentally prepared for dealing for something like this. Nobody should be dealing with something like this. Nobody should be mentally ready for to deal with something like this at any time at all in their lives. But it happened to me. And I'm not here to complain or to victimize myself saying how unlucky I am. Basically, I'm telling you how optimistic I am, all things considered, and eventually this would be a good opportunity for me to basically take a long sick leave from work, and that will allow me to get back to making content just like I did 10 years ago. Remember, at that time I was in some sort of hiatus, but because of the cancer I actually got back to the activity, making videos and doing live streams. I used to do a lot more. Probably that's, I mean, today, or in this case, it's gonna happen the exact same thing. So don't get surprised in the slightest. Um, so yeah, I mean, this video is not just to tell you how unlucky and how much of a victim I am. Of course, that was sarcastic. But also to tell you that I'm eventually gonna get back with more content because, as opposed to 2 months ago when I was actually my worst, I feel better because I'm eating more, I'm sleeping slightly better, and things are being taken care of. And it's just a matter of weeks before I start chemotherapy. Probably those will be the worst times, as you know, but that will be just a few days, and then a few days later I will be full of energy and feeling like doing things. And probably during those periods of time, a couple of weeks in between chemo sessions, I would be making videos and doing live streams. I know things are going to be very similar, but of course with a lot different circumstance because I'm 10 years older, because I'm in a worse physical condition than 10 years ago. But at the same time, I already got the experience, so I know what I'm going to deal with, and that probably gets me more prepared in that aspect. Again, that's not really something that would allow me to cope with potential pain and exhaustion in a better way, but I know what I'm gonna deal with and when I'm gonna deal with certain things. So yeah, my friends, I mean, I remember asking you this 10 years ago, and I'm gonna ask you again. Don't, I mean, if you want to comment something in the video, just good wishes, support. Uh, I mean, try to avoid pitiful comments because when someone shows pity to somebody else, you're transmitting pessimism. And I want to be optimistic. I am optimistic, and I know you guys will be rooting for me. For those who are more faithful and think or believe in someone religious or whatever, will be putting their faiths in those entities, gods, whatever. Others will be more practical and basically wish me luck on, and others probably will just uh, be there to make me company, which is probably what I would prefer the most. To be there for whenever I have something to say, like today, when I have something to share, and things like that. I've been running some tests about, the consoles, the computers, certain games that I want to. I've been trying to get to work on different emulators. So yeah, I mean, when I say that I actually coming back to making content now that I actually feel better, it's serious. It's not just an empty promise. Right now, I am in of course in a moment. I'm in a process of expectation, of basically waiting for certainties about the future of my illness. But at the same time, I'm already doing things to keep myself busy and entertained, and keep you guys also informed and entertained, and basically make up for all of these months of disappearance. I think justified disappearance, if I am allowed to say so myself. But yeah, my friends, that's it. I mean, for those who have been supporting me for all these 15 years, almost 15 years, dude. Yeah, it will be 15 years in January 19th, in exactly 10 days. Maybe we can do a celebratory thing. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I've been absent for so many months that honestly, I don't know if it would be justifiable to celebrate something if I haven't been acting for so long, half a year pretty much. But yeah, that's what the situation is, and that's why I disappeared. I found out the worst possible way about this cancer. I could have avoided some months of suffering probably if I would have found about this before. But I think we are on time still to act and get back from it and get it all removed. It depends on, again, the biopsy result. If we are dealing with a vulnerable and easy to deal with type of testicular cancer, then we can celebrate, and I actually will be able to put up with whatever suffering there is involved as long as I get completely cured, which is possible under certain circumstances. And I'm waiting for the confirmation of those circumstances before we can, quote, celebrate in advance. Well, my friends, it's been great to be in contact with you. I'll be keeping this video like the latest that I upload for 3 or 4 days, so a lot of people can actually catch up with the situation and know what's happened to me, what's going to happen to me. Well, what's going to happen to me will be revealed in later videos with more updates and things like that. Don't worry about that. I did the same thing 10 years ago, and today is not going to be different. I have no intention to hide information. For whatever reason, I don't say anything. You can expect the worst, but again, I don't think that's going to be the case. Um, I feel well enough to be able to handle this again with a bit more of suffering, a little more of tediousness, but no more than that. I don't think that's gonna get worse than that, to be honest. Well, everybody, that's it. In terms of what exactly I'm gonna be uploading or getting back with, in terms of potential recordings and streamings, that will be on a later video. Today is about myself, my health, my situation, and you guys getting actually in touch with me in whatever way you think it's possible, or if you think it's necessary, or whatever. So, yeah, my friends, that's it. Have a great one. Have a great 2023. It's a weird way to start the year. We had a cancer diagnosed. That's a thing that I actually had needed to experience in my life. I guess we're gonna say that 2023 will be a very good year because we are already taking care of things. 2022 was definitely forgettable, but this year, 2023, definitely would be a better one. I I'm confident. Take care, guys. Love you.